Gun violence continues. New tonight on our news live at 7. Authorities on Abaco launch an investigation into a double shooting as the community grapples with shock and concern. The victim since airlifted to the capital. We'll tell you what investigators are saying about this latest spate of shootings. But first, the far-reaching impact of crime comes into focus as today observed as Family of All Murder Victims Day. The heart-wrenching story of a mother who says she cries every day for her son. Plus, we'll tell you the 3 migrant smuggling attempts the Defense Force says it foiled this year. Then in our news at 7:30, we need time. Residents of another southern New Providence shanty town plead for more time as government moves aggressively on demolition. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. It was a somber mood at the New Covenant Baptist Church today as families who lost loved ones to violence came together to remember their lost loved ones on what has been declared Family of All Murder Victims Day. One mother telling us the pain isn't getting any easier. Bethany McDermott.
It's hard. I cry every day for my son. Every day.
8 months after her child was gunned down on Soldier Road, Lorette Lockhart says the pain isn't getting any easier. Lazaro Ferguson died at the Princess Margaret Hospital on May 28, 2023. She remembers the last time she saw her child before his life was tragically cut short.
He visit my house the same day he died. Every Sunday, all of my kids come by my house for dinner. And shortly after he left, he got killed.
Adding to the pain is the fact that police have yet to charge someone with Ferguson's death. Lockhart joined other relatives of murder victims at the New Covenant Baptist Church to commemorate Family of All Murder Victims Day. Family of All Murder Victims President Candy Gibson stressed the importance of having this support system.
I want to let persons know that to bear with us this day, hold hands and pray with us. It's not easy having a loved one murdered. And I want to also say this, I want to give words of encouragement to a person who would have lost a loved one. When you lose your loved one, stay off social media. Okay? Social media does not know your diamond, and that's the thing we're using today, remembering your diamond. Do not follow social media, don't follow what they say he or she was, because if y'all can see and y'all go on this loved one's page after they would have been murdered, y'all see them being the life of the party or the clown of the party, y'all see them showing love and affection to their children. So whatever the world claims they were, that's not what they brought home.
And given the recent spike in homicides, Lockhart had this to say to mothers who may find themselves in a similar situation.
Trust in God. That's the only hope and option.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Bethany. Well, a week after the island recorded its first homicide, police over in Abaco, they've got a double shooting investigation on their hands. This after 2 men sitting outside a home in Cooperstown were ambushed. It happened after 9 o'clock last night. Police say that's when a white Japanese vehicle pulled up. A gunman jumped out and opened fire. One of the victims was shot in the left arm and the other in the left leg. The gunman sped off heading south on Cooperstown Road. The victims were transported to the clinic where they were examined by the local doctor, and both, because of their serious injuries, have since been airlifted to New Providence for additional medical attention. And just 3 weeks into the new year, there have been at least 3 attempts to breach the country's borders. That's according to Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Dr. Raymond King. King made the comments on the sidelines of the Defense Force Executive and Command Leadership Conclave, where he revealed that 3 attempts were made by Haitian migrants, and one of the groups, he said, successfully landed in Crooked Island. King says they are keeping a watchful eye on vessels leaving Haiti as new trends are emerging.
One of those vessels would have ended up being interdicted by the Cuban Border Patrol. Another is a joint arrest that we had with TCI shipwrights on board. And the third vessel is the one which ended up on Hard Hill. We've been effective in dissuading and stemming the tide coming into this country significantly over the last 4 years. But we're watching the intel and the movement of those vessels, because the first movement this year, we've seen a number of vessels left and they dispersed in different directions.
And with these emerging trends, Dr. King says it's time to be more proactive.
So now we have to be more proactive, more preemptive, and we have to respond appropriately because they would make shifts. Now we would have to make shifts in order to determine which direction those vessels are heading once they depart Haiti based on the intel that we receive. We take great pride in border protection, and I've made the necessary adjustments to determine how do we respond based on any change on tactics on those criminal networks we have.
All right, the aggressive push to take down unregulated communities continues as the Ministry of Works preparing to knock down another shanty town just off Carmichael Road near Opulent Drive. Officer attached to the Unregulated Community Task Force, Superintendent Stephen Carey, says final preparations are underway. He had this message for those still residing.
At this point in time, I want to say to all of those that are living in this unregulated community, please move. We are going to close down all of these unregulated communities. It's just a matter of days.
The first shanty town to be demolished was Cool Acres back in early November, while the All Saints Way shanty town was torn down on January 15th. With this being the third unregulated community to be demolished, Carey says government is resolute in restoring these properties to their original purpose.
Most of these properties are farmland. They belong to agriculture. Some of them are rented by persons, Bahamians. They're supposed to be used for farming. The structures aren't supposed to be any structures on them. So therefore, persons that are entitled to the land are not getting use of the land. So the land, we're trying to give the land back to them.
All right, our Joshua Williams is following this. He's got more coming up in our news at 7:30. Be sure and stay tuned for that. We've got much more to get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg, boy, these cold fronts, they have come with a vengeance, it seems. A good vengeance, though.
Yeah, well, this one that moved through down near the southeast Bahamas is still fizzling out. Yeah. We have a very strong high-pressure system that's been persistent over the last couple of days, and that looks to be the same for the remainder of the week. So, breezy conditions expected. 74 degrees outside right now, partly cloudy skies. Most of that is high-level clouds moving across our area from the west. East-southeast winds, very breezy out there, 20 miles per hour. Your field-side temperature hanging out in the mid to upper 70s. Temperatures around the islands right now, it's 71 in Freeport, 70 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. We pick up 75s in Alistown, Bimini, Nicholstown, Andros. Great Harbor Key here in the capital and in Governor's Harbor, 74. Into the Central Bahamas, 73 in Kemps Bay, 78 in Arthurstown, Cat Island, and Georgetown. I think those are a little on the high side. Coburn down San Salvador, you guys are 75, 76 in Deadman's Key. Southeast Bahamas, 78 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, 74 in Colonel Hill, Crooked Island. We pick up 76s in Delectable Bay, Abrams Bay, Matthewtown, Inagua. You guys in Delectable Bay seeing some showers nearby. And our neighbors to the southeast, in Caicos Islands, you are 77 at this hour. Satellite radar composites showing a lot of low-level, what we call stratocumulus clouds, not really producing much in terms of any rainfall. That's the cold air mass that's been moving over the Atlantic warm waters, bringing some of that moisture across us. But that high pressure is generating some very strong winds. Hazardous boating and beaching conditions continue, and looks as though that will continue through the remainder of the week. There is a disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico, but that high will continue to extend a ridge across us. That's going to keep that well west of us. So we're looking at some rather nice conditions, though breezy, for the next several days. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. So look at your extended forecast system.
Thanks, Greg. And still to come in our news, this year's Business Outlook puts the focus on branding the national identity as we look to the future in Bahamian business. Hear from one presenter whose focus on tourism expected to challenge industry stakeholders. And our New Year, New You series continues tonight. How keeping your annual physical will position you to achieve your goals this year. When our news returns.
Since they're on sale, Max bought things neither he nor his friend really needed. Hungry for deals? Come to KFC to satisfy your hunger before doing something crazy. Our new 6-piece value deal is packed with 6 pieces of your favorite fried chicken, 3 orders of crispy fries, and 3 buttery biscuits, all for just $20. You work hard for your money. Get the biggest bang for your taste buds. Satisfy your taste buds with KFC. It's finger-licking good.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
It's all systems go for the 2024 Bahamas Business Outlook. Numerous experts in their respective fields. They're expected to present on various topics, including business, tourism, technology, and Prime Minister Philip Davis, he's expected to deliver the keynote address focusing on this year's theme, Future Bahamas, branding the national identity, planning for success. Prince Rami, who will also present with a focus on tourism, says although the Bahamas continues to usher in record tourism numbers, we must not rest on our laurels.
We need to actually plan. We need to focus on the strategies, how to go forward in order to continue to grow the sector, because the competitors and competitions from around the region and globally are competing for the same market share, and so the Bahamas needs to be on its best and really plan to ensure that we can move forward.
Alive and Cable Bahamas group of companies will also share invaluable information as it relates to the future of technology. Vice President of Business Solutions at Alive, Sharnette Thompson, says as a partner of the organization, they continue to make an impact in the business community.
Everyone needs to stay connected in order to do the things that they need to do to make their team, their organization, and ultimately the country successful. And we want to be part of that vision, part of what helps us to better brand our country and our companies and to move us all forward. So we look forward to seeing people there to hear about all of the changes that are happening in the economy. I really look forward to the Prime Minister's keynote address and to hearing more from the other speakers as well.
All right, to see that story again, head over to ournews.bs. Our New Year, New Me series continues tonight. And in this installment, Marlena Leonard, she speaks to a local doctor for the inside scoop on being the healthiest you this year. Take a look.
Whether you feel fine or you're on a mission to turn your health around in 2024, Medical Director of Family Medicine Center Dr. Graham Cates says there's one thing you need to do first.
Well, number one is get your physical done. So number one, definitely see your primary care physician, get your annual medical done so that you know your numbers. And when I talk about knowing your numbers, I'm talking about knowing your blood sugar, knowing your blood pressure, knowing obviously what's happening with your cholesterols. And then as a part of that, the additional preventative health screening examinations that obviously we mentioned, which is pap smears, mammograms, and colonoscopies.
Cates adds being aware of your lifestyle and areas with room for improvement can help you make the shift into healthier patterns.
We have to take time to look after ourselves. And the ways in which we look after ourselves is one is by eating well and healthily. And secondly is by exercising regularly, so regular cardiovascular exercise, and the current recommendations are about 150 minutes of cardiovascular activity on a weekly basis, and then maintaining a normal body weight.
But the doctor stresses it's not all about your physical health, urging people not to overlook or downplay their mental health.
If obviously you're feeling anxious, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling burnt out, seek help. Don't stay at home and say, oh, it's going to go away, because it's not going to go away. And there are lots of avenues that are available for people to reach out to get help. We have a mental health care team here at our facility. There's also accessible services through other facilities in the public system. So reach out and make sure that you're looking after yourself in those aspects of your general health and well-being.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
When Our News comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as wild winter weather in the United States moves east after a massive ice storm wreaks havoc in the Midwest. Plus, Republican Ron DeSantis ends his run for the White House. Donald Trump and Nikki Haley face off in the New Hampshire primary. And we'll tell you why the Netherlands has closed prisons when Our News returns.
Doctors Hospital's reimagined primary care. We've invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
Jump into January and save with the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, 2 for $5. Best value whole kernel corn, 15 ounce, 99 cents. Country Barn mayonnaise, 30 ounce, $3.75. Boneless chicken breasts, $2.99 per pound. Romaine hearts, 3-pack, $4.99. Another year to save at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
If you want a real nice, tasty banging dish, there's a place on the fish fry you can't resist. You can watch the sunset out on the beautiful deck. Eat a juicy conch salad made by the conch technician. When they ask me where I gurn by the conch. When they ask me where I gurn by Goldie. When they ask me where I gurn by the conch. When they ask me where I gurn by Goldie's. Arawaki's king of conch. We 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 gurn by Goldie's. Goldie's Conch House, Arawaki. 325-4300. That's Goldie's Conch House, Arawaki. 325-4300.
This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Parts of the southern United States are on alert for flooding after a day of historic rainfall in California. This as states in the north are preparing for ice as winter weather sweeps across the United States. Over the past 3 days, parts of Northern California and Southern California recorded 5 to 9 inches of rain amid a continuous onslaught of Pacific storms. Forecasters say the highest threat for flooding on Tuesday and Wednesday will be from Houston to Little Rock, Arkansas, to New Orleans, to Birmingham, Alabama. Local rainfall totals could be more than a half a foot, with flash flooding in the forecast. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and his sole remaining GOP challenger, Nikki Haley, are facing off in New Hampshire's 2024 primary as voters decide which Republican nominee will take on President Joe Biden in the November election. This as the other contender, Ron DeSantis, has dropped out of the race. Chris Dignam reports.
I am today suspending my campaign. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, once seen as Donald Trump's biggest threat for the Republican presidential nomination, dropped out of the primary race on Sunday, a relatively early exit that underlines the iron grip the former president still holds on the party.
If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory.
DeSantis made the announcement in a video posted to the X social media site, endorsing Trump and attacking the last Republican in the race with a shot at the presidential nomination, Nikki Haley.
It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents.
DeSantis had been widely seen as a top contender for the 2024 Republican nomination and early last year led several head-to-head polls against Trump, but the Florida governor's support has been declining for several months due to a flawed campaign strategy, his seeming lack of ease with voters on the campaign trail, and Trump's so far unshakable hold on much of the party's base. Meanwhile, Nikki Haley has emerged as the favorite among moderate Republicans as the field has consolidated. Several DeSantis allies say the governor waited too long to become a candidate, finally throwing his hat in the ring in May, more than 6 months after Trump had done so. When he finally did formally launch his campaign, it was a glitch-filled disaster on Twitter, now known as X, an inauspicious start for a campaign predicated on the governor's executive competence.
And finally, a record 22 metric tons of cocaine have been seized in a military operation in Ecuador on Monday. Authorities say the operation, which followed 6 months of planning and surveillance, is one of the country's biggest drug seizures, now 2 weeks into an internal armed conflict against organized crime. In a statement, the military said the drugs found in 733 parcels were likely intended for transport across Asia, Europe, and the Americas. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was January 23rd. Then in our news at 7:30, the Prime Minister's wife highlights urgent need for conflict resolution amid soaring homicide rates. More from her address on Families of All Murder Victims Day. And appeal denied. A doctor's negligence upheld in a baffling medical malpractice case as a patient loses her right ovary. The story when our news returns.
That part hard to get, you know.
Unless you go to wimauto.com.
Man, anybody get our website, man. How you know that's the right part?
On wimauto.com, you can enter the year, make, model, and engine size of your vehicle and choose the part that you need.
This is a Japanese car.
You can shop for that on our website.
What about chemicals?
Yep.
Car accessories?
Yep.
Tools?
Actually, yeah.
Plumbing, electrical, and grocery?
If we sell it, it's on our website. Don't worry, we don't have mechanics.
Oh, thank goodness.
Save time and shop with confidence with wimauto.com.
When the world bid a final farewell to Britain's longest reigning monarch, we were there. A moment of global solemnity that won't soon be forgotten. And when it was time to crown a new king in the first coronation in 50 years, our news was there to the end. These stories shape our view of the world, a view that goes beyond our borders, because our news is all around us. This is our story. This is our news. Always there when it counts.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter, an innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health.
Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Welcome back to Our News. It's time now to turn our spotlight on events that shaped the day that was January 23rd. Take a look. On this day in Bahamian history, in 1923, Emma Evelyn Carey Cooper was born in Tarpon Bay, Eleuthera. Cooper was a lifelong educator for nearly 40 years. Her career as a teacher began in January of 1943 at Quarry Mission, Western Junior, and Western Senior Schools. Following her retirement, she was honored by the Primary Principals Association in 1978, and in 1984, she was awarded a British Empire Medal for long service in the field of education. The following year, the Palmetto Point All-Age School was renamed in her honor. Cooper died in August 2013. Then in 1956, late politician and former Tribune editor and publisher Sir Etienne Depuch tabled a resolution in Parliament calling for an end to discrimination in the Bahama Islands based on race and color. This is said to be one of the key moments in the civil and social movement in the colony. The move by Sir Etienne made it possible for black Bahamians to have free access to all public places. On this day in 1981, an article appeared in the New York Times with the headline, "Bahamas, once a haven, is land of fear for Haitians." The article points to the expiration of a deadline for Haitians to leave the country and that most of the 25,000 illegal Haitian residents in the Bahamas at the time were now subject to arrest and deportation. The article reads, although the Bahamian government cannot expel the Haitians en masse and apparently will not try, Bahamians see themselves in a struggle for national survival. And finally, in 2013, members of the Vote Yes campaign marched on Parliament to advocate for the legalization of gaming. Hundreds, including web shop owners, workers, and campaign supporters, crammed the streets to Parliament to convince lawmakers to regularize the industry. Web shop gaming was later legalized in July 2014. All right, to watch that historical recap again, and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs. That's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is Italia Hall with the latest headlines. Happy Tuesday, Italia.
Tuesday,
did you make it to the gym today?
I did. I did. I had a good workout.
You didn't call me.
No, I did not call.
I did get to do some push-ups at home, so I was still able to get a workout in.
We're proud of you. We are proud of you. I want you to keep it up. All right, thanks so much, Ken. Well, the Prime Minister's wife highlights the urgent need for conflict resolution, plus a doctor's negligence upheld in a baffling medical malpractice case. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight on Our News Live at 7:30.
Yet another unregulated community in the capital is said to be demolished. Now, we visited the community today and we have the plights of the leaders here and the official response from those that are in charge. For more, stay tuned tonight.
Plus, the wife of the Prime Minister says the solution to crime is conflict resolution. We have her full comments straight ahead. Plus, a doctor loses an appeal in a medical malpractice case. And later, what an epic day. This as the Cape Bahamas group of companies hold their quarterly award ceremony.
When we recognize people, it gives them the belief in themselves. And this is what we're trying to encourage in our staff to make sure that they themselves want to be here, are doing things because they're happy, they're thrilled to be doing it.
Our News Live at 7:30 is back in a moment.
I'm Michaela Kerr. I'm an 18-year-old freshman at the University of the Bahamas, and I'm a computer science major. I'm also the NT Corporation's Youth Ambassador for the Environment, and I'm an environmentalist. My journey as the environmental advocate began with a simple yet profound realization that our environment is degrading right in front of my eyes. And being NT's Youth Ambassador for the Environment means that my words and my actions hold the power to help change the environment and the world around me. I find it exciting that I can be a student, live my life, and use my words and my voice to change the environment and world around me. Most times I think it's a privilege. It's our environment and it's our generation to own. I don't think as a young person that there's anything more rewarding than being a part of bringing awareness. I'm Michaela Kerr, and I'm making a difference in my own words.
If you want a real nice, tasty banging dish, there's a place on the fish fry you can't resist. You can watch the sunset out on the beautiful deck. Eat a juicy conch salad made by the conch technician. When they ask me where I learn by the conch. When they ask me where I learn by Goldie. When they ask me where I learn by the conch. When they ask me where I learn by Goldie's. Arawaki's king of conch. We 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 learn by Goldie's. Goldie's Conch House, Arawaki. 325-4300. That's Goldie's Conch House, Arawaki. 325-4300.
Welcome to our news. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Eviction notices posted in another southern New Providence shantytown as government moves aggressively to crack down on these unregulated communities. Our Joshua Williams takes us into one area where they are in a race against time.
The property does not belong to you.
I know.
But remember, if you say that you're a man of God,
yes,
you cannot build a church on another man's land.
Time is winding down for these shantytown residents in southern New Providence. Just a 5-minute bumpy ride on a dirt road off Carmichael Road leads to yet another unregulated community. It's where Pastor Jane Don Amvril shepherds a congregation.
They have 4-5 kids. Some of them, they ain't even working. Some of them, they have to pay at government every year $3,600 for the work permit and insurance. That's a lot of money.
This man, who claims he had an encounter with members of the Coalition of Independence a year ago and now wants to remain anonymous. While he understands the government's stance, he says they simply need more time.
We got blind people, we got crippled people, we got all kinds of people in the backyard.
Police Superintendent Stephen Carey is actively on the ground in these communities, a part of his work to remind these residents of the policy.
Once you're a Bahamian citizen living in this unregulated community, social service will try their best to assist you.
Carey, also understanding the role of the church here, speaks to Pastor Jane.
Yes, the Bible says, "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's own."
Yes, sir.
Can you just go and take Caesar's item, Pastor? If we're gonna speak gospel Christianity and all of that, like I say, we can't start wrong and end right.
While the exact date is still in the air, Carey promises that demolition will begin in this community in the early part of February. Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks for that, Joshua. Wife of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis, says conflict resolution is lacking as the country experiences another spike in homicides. Speaking at the service to mark Families of All Murder Victims Day, Davis said this is perhaps the most critical area that's missing among children and parents.
We need it in the schools. We need it at home, in every organization. All internal or self-conflicts can fester so badly that it can become hard to control. I applaud my brother Eric Fox, Mr. Higgins here, and others who I see on the ground. I applaud Eric Fox for his anger management unit. But before we become angry and uncontrollably angry, we need conflict resolution.
Her comments come amid a spike in homicides in the capital and a bloody weekend that saw 3 killed in just a matter of days. The wife of the Prime Minister adds compensation should be paid to the families of murder victims tragically killed in the Bahamas by the individual charged with the heinous crime. She says many families take on a lot of expenses when their relatives are killed.
I believe Many of the families who fall victims and fall on hard times, especially when their caregivers have been killed, one of the means of the support should be compensation by the perpetrators. The victims need to eat. They need to pay rent. They incur medical costs from grief. Someone has to pay. Who should pay?
Well, as the carnage on the streets of the capital rage on, crime consultant in the Ministry of National Security, Carlos Reed, believes the current crime rate is a reflection of the people. He says local crime issues are a reflection of similar trends globally.
Everybody is facing this same situation. It isn't something that we are doing wrong. I believe that something is going on in the world that we're missing. When we look at crime, crime is a response to people's reality. Some persons, to be honest, that's their way of life. That's what they were taught. That's what they were bred. You only could react based upon what you've been taught.
Well, Prime Minister Philip Davis announced a comprehensive plan to combat crime and gang violence in the Bahamas. One measure calls for intrusive policing, which Davis prepped Bahamians for.
I believe that desperate times require desperate measures. You don't know what a criminal looks like. You know, I could be one, you could be one. The best way to deal with that is to enforce like the laws that are already there. I hear everybody talk about enforcing the laws that's on like the books. Laws, traffic laws, they're on the books. I believe that if we start with the small things, then I think that we could interrupt a lot of the big things. Small crimes lead to big crimes.
All right, well, we saw slightly warmer temperatures in the capital on this Tuesday, but things appear to be a little cooler this evening. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is live in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Natalia. It is cool on the outside, comfortable, but on the windy side, and that's going to keep things rather comfortable for the remainder of the night. We did have some rather warm temperatures today. We got up near the 80-degree mark. 74 right now outside our studios on the partly cloudy skies. And as I said, it is breezy out there. East-southeast at 20 miles per hour, and they are gusting high at times. Your feels-like temperature is at 78. Taking a look at our radar and satellite composite, we do have some clouds across the area. That's courtesy of the high-pressure system or that cold air mass associated with the high, picking up some moisture off the Atlantic, bringing it across us on that stiff easterly breeze. That high will continue to produce those windy conditions, so boating and beaching will stay hazardous for the next couple of days. There's a disturbance in the Gulf that's going to stay west of us as that high continues to keep everything well to the west of us. That's a quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still in.
Still to come on our news, a local doctor losing a medical malpractice appeal. We have details from the courtroom straight ahead. Plus, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force preparing for their deployment to Haiti. This as the country continues to face a national crisis. And later, a quilt call to life. The title behind a book written by an 11-year-old Bahamian author.
Well, every time we finish reading in the park, they're always begging me at school saying, "Lavaria, when's the next reading in the park?" They're just very excited for it.
And that's all coming up when our news returns.
Since they're on sale, Max bought things neither he nor his friend really needed. Hungry for deals? Come to KFC to satisfy your hunger before doing something crazy. Our new 6-piece value deal is packed with 6 pieces of your favorite fried chicken, 3 orders of crispy fries, and 3 buttery biscuits. All for just $20. You work hard for your money. Get the biggest bang for your taste buds. Satisfy your taste buds with KFC. It's finger-licking good.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
A doctor has lost his appeal in a medical malpractice suit. The Court of Appeal, in a 2-1 decision, upheld a ruling that Dr. Raleigh Butler was negligent when he removed a patient's right ovary when he was supposed to remove her left one. The patient was referred to Dr. Butler after she complained of constant pain on the left side of her body. Dr. Butler was supposed to remove her left ovary during an operation on March 24, 2010. Following the surgery, the woman continued to have severe pain. When she told Dr. Butler that it felt as if her left ovary was still there, he dismissed her concerns and prescribed more painkillers. However, a scan later showed that her left ovary was intact, but the right one that she claimed that was healthy was gone. Was gone. Dr. Butler denied any negligence. According to him, during the procedure, the patient's right ovary looked suspicious, so he decided to remove it and send it off for an analysis. Well, members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force are hard at work training for their impending deployment to Haiti. While there is no specific date, troops will be sent to the country that has been in a crisis for months. Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Dr. Raymond King says they are preparing for when that day comes.
We continue to plan, we continue to prepare. That is for infantry, passive and active operations, as well as maritime security. We have ramped up our training in terms of maritime security, in terms of the protection of the northern coast of Haiti, the Windward Passage, and also providing training for the Haitian National Police officers who are attached to the Coast Guard units.
Now, Haiti has been ravaged by gang warfare since the assassination of its president in 2021. In May, mobs began attacking and killing suspected gang members in the street. Officials said the violence in the country continues to escalate. Well, last year, the Bahamas committed to sending 150 officers to Haiti as a part of a multinational force to curb the violence in that country. Well, as the situation there continues to decline, King says there are key areas they plan on tackling.
For the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, it's the training for their Coast Guard personnel. It's for maritime security with probably some level of littoral patrols to defend our positions. But we're looking at the northern coast of Haiti, which serves the national interests of both countries.
All right, well, A Quilt Called Life is the name of the new debut book of a new Bahamian author tackling mental health, emotional expression, and the balance of experiences that make up our lives. Now, this may surprise you. The author is only 11 years old. Our Marlena Leonard has her story in this report.
Lavaria Store is not your typical 11-year-old. This low-sound primary school 6th grader is an author. Her book, A Quilt Called Life, lets readers into the myriad of emotions Lavaria has experienced through major events in her life in recent years.
Well, I have moments of sadness, joy, and anger and peace in my book. And my book is called A Quilt Called Life. So they might feel sad during the times that I've faced during my parents' divorce, or the anger that I faced during the bullying and the times that people have bullied me, and the worries that I've had when I had to get a surgery but I wasn't prepared for it.
Her book even has space for journaling for young readers to reflect on when they've experienced similar emotions. While Lavaria says she has now settled nicely into life in Andros, she tells us there was one big thing missing in her new home: a library. Since then, the 11-year-old has spearheaded an initiative she calls Reading in the Park.
Children come out to the park and we have community leaders come to read to the children, and then we play fun literacy games. Then after that, all the children are fed a hot, nice meal, and then we give them sweet treats. And most importantly, I have a mobile library that they can borrow and return books during Reading in the Park.
And Reading in the Park is already introducing more children to a love of books.
Well, every time we finish Reading in the Park, they're always begging me at school saying, "Lavaria, when's the next Reading in the Park?" They're just very excited for it.
Lavaria has been busy presenting her book to people like Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin and Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander. If you're looking for a copy of your own, A Quilt Called Life is available on Amazon, and the family hopes to partner with Bahamian bookstores soon. Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, the Cable Bahamas group of companies recognizing a number of employees for their hard work and dedication during the Abaco Awards.
The Bahamas women's beach soccer team travels for tournament play and see which college basketball player led his team to a big win over the weekend. Hold tight, our sports is up next.
And you may need to put your sweaters up as temperatures are slowly heating up in the capital. Greg is back with your extended weather right after this quick break. Stay with us.
Okay, one.
Jump into January and save with the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, 2 for $5. Best Value whole kernel corn, 50 an ounce, 99 cents. Country Barn mayonnaise, 30 ounce, $3.75. Boneless chicken breasts, $2.99 per pound. Romaine hearts, 3-pack, $4.99. Another year to save at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
I get it. You can order stuff on wimauto.com and pay for it online.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Online is just the first step.
They have next weekday delivery in Nassau, Monday to Friday.
What if I don't live in Nassau?
Wimauto.com will send it to the mailbox.
What if I don't want nobody knowing where I live?
They have a store.
What if I don't want to come inside because I don't like air conditioning?
They have a drive-thru.
If you love wimauto.com so much, why don't you just marry it?
If Wim Auto starts selling fries, we're going to have to reassess this entire relationship.
In the vibrant heart of the Bahamas, a common loftier goal unites us all. A place where love and unity thrive. Where world-class technology is accessible and affordable, connecting every generation. We believe in our heritage and the boundless potential that lies within us. We believe in Bahamians.
This is our news. Welcome back. The Bahamas women's beach soccer team travels for tournament play and see which college basketball player led his team to a big win over the weekend. Here's Tej Adderley with a check on sports. Tej?
Thanks, Tatia. Good evening. Welcome to Our Sports. I'm Tej Adderley. The national women's beach soccer team was in Florida over the weekend to play in a tournament. Here's what they did over there. Team 242 recently returned from the National Beach Soccer League Fort Lauderdale Open over the weekend. The team, coached by Daria Adderley, went 2-2 in the tournament, winning an opener against Santa Cruz, California, 5-2 thanks to 2 goals from Karen Wirt. They dropped the next 2 games against Southeast Virginia and Beach Soccer LA 5-4 and 9-0 respectively, but they left the tournament on a high note, winning their rematch against the Virginia squad 6-4. Karen Wirt was the leading scorer for Team Bahamas with 6 in the tournament. Now, the team lost all 3 of their matches last year, so this year's showing was a drastic improvement. Now we're going to head over to the hardwood, where a Bahamian helped his team to a big win in Dunk City. Grand Bahama-born Franco Miller Jr. had 17 points and 5 rebounds as he led his Florida Gulf Coast Eagles to a win over in-state conference rival Stetson University. The 6'3" Bahamas national team guard's points came on 7 of 13 shooting in 30 minutes off the bench as his team routed Stetson 80-56. The win was much needed for Miller and his Eagles, as it was only their second win in 5 games of conference play. They'll have a chance to get on a streak on Thursday night when they host Lipscomb University on their home court. And that'll do it for sports this evening. Until tomorrow, I'm Tej Adderley.
Still ahead on our news tonight, what an epic day for an epic group of people. This as the Cable Bahamas group of companies celebrates their employees during an award ceremony at the Atlantis Resort. Plus, nice conditions on this Tuesday evening as temperatures warm up in the capital. Greg is back with more weather details right after this break.
Over a decade ago, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies was birthed out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long, yet the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
From the field to the fresh market, you will find fresh, delicious, mouth-watering produce and meat. Discover organic, specialty, and healthy grocery products for everyday cooking. Your adventure awaits. Experience the fresh escape. Sign up today for My Solomon Smart Rewards at Solomon's Fresh Market.
Have you heard that sound? It's the sound of us. Since our origins, we burst music. Our sounds mixed together. So let us hear your sound too. Your sound of passion, of joy, of friendship. The sound of your style and the beat of your night. It's time to play together. The sound of Guinness. The sounds of greatness.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
Welcome back to our news. Temperatures slowly warming up in the capital this week, but the evenings are still a bit cool. Greg is back in the Weather Center live with your extended forecast. Greg?
Yeah, the warm-up is courtesy of the high-pressure system sliding out into the open Atlantic, so we're starting to see our winds turn more towards the east-southeast. Eventually, by the end of the week, they become more southeasterly, so it's going to bring in that warmer temperature. But those evening temperatures are also courtesy of that high, the nice easterly breeze, bringing our temperatures down a bit. And that high is going to stay with us for at least another several days before we do see another frontal boundary getting here. In the meantime, we have some low-level clouds moving across the area. We could see some light sprinkles across the islands. An uptick in the moisture by the end of the week should increase our chances for showers. There's a disturbance in the Gulf. That's going to stay in the Gulf of Mexico as that high stays intact. And then there's a big storm system across the central portions of the United States. That's going to stay away from us for the next several days. Future forecast showing quiet conditions across the area. We could see, like I said, 1 or 2 small sprinkles across our area through tomorrow and into our Thursday. Just the same, some high-level clouds will be moving across us, but the high is going to stay with us for the remainder of the week. Boating forecast. We're asking you boaters still to remain in port or very near port. An advisory is in place for the northwest Bahamas. East to southeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots. They will be gusting high at times. Seas 4 to 7 feet, but they will be building up to 10 feet along Atlantic exposures. High tide was at 6:19. Your next tide will be a low tide at 12:21 in the morning. Central and southeast Bahamas, we ask you boaters down there to remain in port as well. But the winds are very strong. Easterly winds 20 to 25 knots. They will be gusting high at times as well. Seas 5 to 8 feet, but up to 12 feet in some northeast to easterly swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, quiet weather, still breezy up until Friday and into the weekend. And then we do expect a very weak front again here sometime Saturday. That could bring our temperatures down by early portions of next week. But we're looking for some 80s for the remainder of the week. And those temperatures at night will stay near the 70-degree mark. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody. Natalia?
All right, thanks so much, Greg. Well, the Cable Bahamas group of companies hosting its quarterly award ceremony where the best of the best employees were recognized. And as Alive CEO John Gomez tells us, the Epic Awards was all about making sure their hard work was not overlooked.
This is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, when we think about what it means for these individuals, they're setting a standard for, not just for themselves, but for their colleagues, for the company, because we believe in people.
It was an afternoon filled with celebration, laughter, and fun as the Cable Bahamas group of companies hosted the Epic Awards. Several employees from various departments were nominated by their colleagues as they've been recognized as the standard setters. These winners in the line staff, supervisory, and managerial categories say it's an honor.
I was surprised that the work and the efforts that I do was actually noticed. It felt so good.
It's a phenomenal feeling. Phenomenal feeling. It only motivated me to go out there and do a lot better.
I am so elated to have received this award for the supervisor of the quarter for the Epic Awards at our Cable Bahamas group of companies.
Our News Weekend anchor Megan Shepherd was also a nominee in the line staff category this quarter. While she did not win the overall category, she says it's still not a loss.
I am very honored to have been nominated, especially as the first one from the media department. I am honored to represent all of my colleagues that make my job easy, that make my job fun, and a pleasure to do what it is that I do. And I'm honored that my peers nominated me and recommended me and just spoke so highly of me for this. And again, even though I didn't win, it is still an honor and a pleasure, and I'm so excited to be here.
Chief Information Officer of Alive, Dwayne Davis, and Director of Human Resources, Keishla Knowles, believe the awards program is motivational.
It was just so important for Human Resources, of course led by our Vice President Edward Duncombe and supported by our executive team, to make sure that we bring to life an award ceremony that really highlights and showcases our top-tier employees.
If you look at the first one, we were begging people to vote and nominate. Now, everybody wants to be part of the team. The caveat is that every department doesn't get to nominate every quarter. to try and make it a little more balanced for everyone. But I think it's a beautiful opportunity for everybody. You're welcome.
All right, well, thanks again and congrats to all of the winners. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.